At this time, we'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting for the purpose of agenda review for next week's business session. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers is
He's in the building.
in the building. Commissioner O'Hara. Here. Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick here.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Here.
Commissioner Allenbrand. And Chairman Eilert.
Eilert here. All are present. We do have a quorum. Would the clerk please read the proposed first item?
Item number 1, consider approving the September 8th, 2022 business session minutes.
No objection. That will remain on consent. Item 2.
Resolution number WD 22-031, conduct a public hearing and consider creating Contract District Number 1 of Blue River Number 28, authorizing funds to provide sewers in an amount not to exceed $4,400,000, and consider authorizing a contract district financing agreement with FLUM 175 Investors, LLC.
Ms. McCarrick, do you have a quick summary?
Yes, I will be quick if you would prefer. And I'll be happy to answer any questions or provide information before next week. I'll do just a quick recap we haven't created a district in a while. So wastewater districts are generally in the wastewater sewer district created on a petition basis where 51% of the land area must sign the petition in order to have the petition be valid and have the board consider enlarging the consolidated main sewer district. If there is not 51%, there are other options for obtaining sewers. And so in this case, there's what's called a contract district option. And the area that you see here, this map of the area that is proposed to be part of the contract district is shown here in pink. This is generally in the area of 175th Street, and this is FLUM on the east side. And so they have proposed a contract district with the option where they pay 10% of the total cost of the project. And if the board approves, then the sewer shown here in red would be constructed. This is a preliminary layout of that sewer, and then connect to the green sewers that are already existing. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. That was really quick. I have a longer version
Well, thank you.
for you.
As far as the connection to the sewer system, the sewers are in place for that connection?
Yes, sir. The sewers we would connect down here just south of 183rd and Flum Streets.
All right, okay. And the petitioner is familiar with all the requirements and
They are
compliant.
familiar with the requirements, and they have paid their 10% and provided that to the county, or to
Thank you.
wastewater. Yes.
Questions, Mr. Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McCarrick, if we could visit before next week, and you're right, it has been a while since we've created a district. One of the fundamental tenets has been, will growth pay for itself? So I will be interested in learning about the analytics that you're employing to justify this expansion.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Well, this is a public hearing, so it will remain on action.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Item number 3.
Request for a proposal, RFP number 2022-047. Consider authorizing a contract with EMS Management and Consultants, EMS/MC, for ambulance and EMS medical billing and collection services at a cost not to exceed $600,000 for a period of 12 months with the option to renew for 2 additional 12-month periods.
Mr. Davis.
Paul Davis, Department of Emergency Services. Linda stole my thunder, so that's what was going to be my short version. So we're really just asking for your authority to engage a new contract with the current billing vendor for 1 year and not to exceed $600,000 per year in 2 additional terms for up to 3 years total before we come back for RFP in consideration. If you have questions, I'll be glad to take those.
And this vendor you've used before or currently using?
We're currently using this vendor now, and in the process, they actually reduced the cost of collection from 4.15% to 3.9%.
Okay. All right, thank you. Questions, Ms. O'Hara?
Yeah, just quickly, could you email me the explanation of the 2 ambulances that have been, I keep getting these questions out in the
I'll be
public,
glad
so
to.
could you please email me the explanation to that?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Do you have an explanation currently that could be shared?
What, yes. So certainly, we're dealing with staffing challenges and mandatory overtime. And so we took 3 supplemental ambulances that were in service. We moved those personnel onto the 24-hour trucks, which were mandated to have in service. And when we have extra staff, we'll staff up another ambulance. Extra staff doesn't happen very often. And so in order to maintain our 24-hour service and keep all those ambulances in the areas that they're required, we took those supplemental ambulances and moved those staff to those trucks. And I'll send you more detail if you need it.
Can you define, too, what do you mean by supplemental?
So those impact ambulances, those 3 units that we talked about last week during the COW for a moment, they are supplemental in that they're not our normal 24/7 ambulances. So they come on duty Monday through Friday from about 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 or 6 o'clock at night to help us manage the peak demand. And so once the call volumes start to slow down in the evening, then they go off duty. But the other 17 ambulances remain in service 24/7.
Well, thank you for that explanation again.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Any other questions, Mr. Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a suggestion, Chief, you might send all of us that information. I think it's a good question. And how long have we used EMS/MC?
So that's since 2020. So that was, if you remember, you approved that, this board approved that back in 2020 in January.
Thank you.
Consent or action?
Consent's fine with me.
Any objection to consent at this time? All right, so noted to be on consent. Next item.
Thank you.
Item number 4, consider authorizing a change order to construction contract with Double D Incorporated doing business as Dale Brothers in an amount not to exceed $221,507.90 to remove and dispose of concrete associated with the raising of the existing structures and hazardous material abatement on the Coleman die casting property near 164th and Mission Road, and thereby increasing the total construction contract amount in an amount not to exceed $677,707.90 per invitation to bid, IFB number 2019-085.
Mr. Waters?
Joe Waters, Assistant County Manager, kind of covering this one instead of Brian or Kyle, just because I've been working on this Coleman issue from day one. Commissioners and Chairman, this is a change order request, $221,000. That'll bring our total up to $677,000 with this contractor. The board had approved a $725,000 project in June of 21 to take down the existing structure and to make that site more safe. There was some abatement work, asbestos abatement and some other things, and a whole lot of unknowns. So we were pleased to have gotten very, very good bids in the first place on this work, but there was a whole lot that we did not know until we started pulling up slabs and taking the building down went about as expected. But once we started removing slabs, we found a whole lot of extra concrete basins with fluids and water, rainwater that had gotten in over many, many decades. The state KDHE became our good friends. They stepped in and did a ton of work on the removal of the contaminants. Really took over the site for a while. Our contractor pulled off, and they got all that done at no charge to the county. So we are very grateful for that. They also gave us the approval to dispose of this rubble. The steel is all recycled and all that, but the concrete rubble to dispose of that on site. So this change order will allow us to dispose of the rubble we've gathered thus far on site and cover it appropriately with topsoil.
Okay.
But it also will allow us to remove the balance of a slab. We don't suspect that there'll be much underneath there, but I thought that once before, and we will see. But this is a change order to get the rest of it taken out.
Mr. Waters, we are running out of time, so are there questions? Okay, this will remain on action. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other items?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes our agenda review. Our executive session will start in a couple of minutes. It's in the conference room of the legal office, so beginning at 1:45.